G'day everyone, Artist Wayne here with a couple of rides I've enjoyed over the past couple of weeks. One beautiful Sunday morning, Roger, Clint and I stopped in at Wyong to say hello to a big bunch of riders from the Sydney Adventure Group. They were enjoying a ride organised by David, who was taking them from Wyong to St Albans for lunch. So we thought we'd tag along for a bit. Then our plan was to peel off and head down a certain trail, hit some singles, and then make our way to the Ramp of Death. This is a cool trail where you ride down through a large split in a huge rocky outcrop, meander your way past trees and boulders, and then you come to this steep ramp. This was going to be Clint's first time at the ramp.
To my wife Lisa, if I don't make it down here alive, you can have all my stuff. Yeah, roll down.
And he did it easy. But shortly after that, he saw a tree on the side of the trail that he didn't like, and he just had to attack.
Ready?
Well, that's what it looked like anyway. Roger was showing off his log jumping skills, which made my effort of a couple of weeks ago look worse after I jumped a log and took flight over my DR650. We were now hitting the single trails that can be found around Muir's Lookout. Then we continued to make our way through the Watagans and over to Colnura for lunch and a well-earned rest. It was, after all, bloody hot. Towards the end of the day it got to 36 degrees. After lunch we were back into it, hitting the trails of the Ourimbah State Forest. Clint was nursing some very sore ribs and opted to ride the main trail and wait for Roger and I to do a few more singles before we called it a day. And what a day it was. This is what it's all about. But I tell you what, after this, Roger and I were absolutely stuffed. We came out of this track. We laid down in the dirt under the shade of our bikes for a well-earned rest. When we regained our energy, we headed over to meet up with Clint, and we all made our way out of the bush after a great day's ride. The following weekend, we were back into it again. 3 DR650s terrorising the Watagans. This time Roger and I were joined by Sam. And there had obviously been some rain the night before, which makes it even more fun. We continued our way into the Watagans looking for some new single trails. And that's how we ended up at the bottom of this gnarly, snotty, rutted, wet hill. This was definitely a hard climb out, especially when you weigh a kilo heavier with all the leeches clinging to your body. It may have been slightly overcast, but it was still hot, which made it very fatiguing to get out.
Oh, spectacular! Smile for the camera.
And that's when my DR seemed to have a problem with the rear wheel locking up. But upon closer inspection, we realised it was my brake lever which had been pushed under the engine casing. Once that was pulled back out into position, my DR and I were back in action. Now I just needed to make the rut wide enough for my DR650 to fit. And I can tell you, when I got to the top of this hill, I was absolutely knackered. And Sam still needed to climb out, but unfortunately I don't have any video of Sam because my camera started to fog up. But I did, however, manage to catch him falling a little later on.
Oh, hey, just for the camera! Yeah!
Poor Sam. About halfway between Muir's Lookout and the Olney headquarters, and after riding all single trail, Sam unfortunately smashed his foot on a small tree stump. He was now out of action and needed to head home. So again it was just Roger and I. We'd continued doing single trail through the Watagans and then headed down into Yarramalong Valley for lunch. Once we were all rested up, we headed into the Ourimbah State Forest to attack more single trails. And we just happened to find some new ones which turned out to be a lot of fun. And as you can see, a little challenging. It's always difficult on our big fat DR650s, but Roger and I love it. We love taking our DRs where they're not really supposed to go. And most of the time, it's a tight squeeze. And I guess that's what really makes it fun. It's a challenge. Not to mention a great workout. Now as I sit here putting the final touches to this video, it's Sunday afternoon and I've been out all day riding my DR650 with Clint, Jeff, Ned and Roger. And I can tell you now, Roger had a bit of a spill on his DR650 and we thought he may even have broken his wrist. But to find out more, well, you're just going to have to wait for the next video.
Oh.
There's nothing like the smell of burning rubber on bush rock. I also have some really good news. Wife Jackie is back on her bike. She went for her very first ride today. How good is that? And that just about rounds up 2 awesome rides over 2 weekends in the beautiful Watagans and Ourimbah State Forests. I'm artist Wayne Dowson. Thanks for watching, everyone.